lovers and movie maniacs. Drama Queen here with my brother.
Drama Queen's brother.
And today we'll be reviewing the movie Avengers Endgame. The Avengers Endgame basically picks up where Infinity War left off. They lost. Thanos literally snapped their friends and a lot of other people just out of existence, like that, with the Infinity Stones. And they decide to basically confront Thanos, and they figure if they can get the stones back from him, they can basically do the same thing and basically snap their friends back in existence and bring them back.
Not that they would like to snap their little backs. That would be chiropractic nightmare.
I'm talking about their fingers. And they can snap their fingers back using the Infinity Stones. Maybe they can bring their friends back. So they go and find Thanos, and it turns out it has basically, I don't know, like retired. And then when they question him, he says that the Infinity Stones are destroyed. That he used the stones to get rid of the stones. And they're like, you just used them 2 days ago. And he said, well, they're destroyed. And after questioning him for a while, and then all of a sudden, Thor comes out of nowhere and he slices, well, Thanos' head off. And then the screen fades to black, and it's 5 years later, and you get to see how each member of the team basically deals with, the grief. How did, for example, Steve Rogers deal with, the grief?
That's Captain America.
Yes, Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, yes.
Well, he was leading a group counseling class where he was helping people deal with and cope with their sense of loss. And I really think the movie did a great job in portraying mental illness and also just how coping with failure can be hard. Even superheroes have to cope with it. Some do it healthily, like Captain America.
And some, yeah, go ahead.
And some, like
Thor, yeah, he had a bit of a unhealthy relationship to grief, because, think about it. He lost his mom in Thor: The Dark World. He lost his brother in Infinity War. He lost his dad in Thor Ragnarok. He's basically alone.
At one point, he lost his eye.
And then he lost his eye. And on top of that, he lost most of his superhero friends. Most of the Avengers and the friends he's made. And he handled it in a very unhealthy way. He's playing video games. He's gotten fat. And he's grown his hair out. It's very unhealthy, And then you experience something a little strange. You go to this, little lot, and you find Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man, and he literally, if you remember at the end of Ant-Man and Wasp, he goes into that little pin particle quantum realm, and he just gets out of there. And to him, it's only been 5 hours, but in reality, it's been 5 months. In reality, it's been 5 years. I meant to say 5 years. And his daughter's pretty much grown up and everything, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. And and he ends up meeting with the Avengers, and they're is this old security footage, but it's actually from present day, and they basically hear from Scott that he's basically been in the quantum realm this whole time. And then they figured out, you know, and then Tony Stark ends up living out on the lake with Pepper Potts, and you find out that he has a daughter, which I really thought was actually pretty cool. What did you think about Tony Stark actually having a daughter?
Very endearing, very sweet, and was really a setup for the emotional punch they packed at the end, which I'm sure Cats will get to in a little bit.
Yeah, and before we get into that, there will be spoilers ahead.
Well, basically we've been spoiling it this whole time.
Well, either way, you still want to pause this video before we spoil anything else.
Or go back in time in the quantum realm and watch the movie before you started this video.
Wow, thank you for that. So yeah, thanks to my brother here, you know that they figured if they can go back in time and basically collect the Infinity Stones before Thanos gets his hands on them, then they can make their own Infinity Gauntlet and snap their friends back into existence. And they do successfully get the Infinity Stones back. But in classic Avengers and Marvel fashion, something goes terribly wrong. And the Thanos from 2014 and the Nebula from 2015 and 2014 come back and just, you know, really ends up having the most incredible, epic final battle that you have probably ever seen in the Marvel Universe. What do you think of the final battle?
It was marvelous.
It starts out with Thanos shooting missiles at the Avengers headquarters, and everybody's basically trapped under the rubble and just trying to get out, and just the final battle basically ends up maybe escalating from just Thor and Iron Man and Captain America to basically the whole Avengers cast. And they actually do end up, the Hulk, actually, who's now basically half Bruce Banner, half the Hulk, which is actually kind of an interesting situation. How you want to, explain that?
He has psychologically become self-actualized. He has been able to merge the Hulk and the Bruce Banner aspects of his psyche.
Yeah, which I thought was actually kind of an unexpected, twist. So he decides he was able to snap everybody back in existence, which I thought was actually pretty cool. And so they all appear during the last battle, and you actually hear Captain America say, "Avengers, assemble!" And they all end up running into battle, and it's the most epic battle. And of course, Star-Lord and Drax and Mantis and Groot and everybody, they return, and Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, returns, and Tony Stark and Peter reunite, and Tony's so overcome with emotion that he ends up just hugging Peter, and they fight together, and Pepper comes with her very own Iron Man suit, and then
there's this really funny flag football moment where they are passing the
Infinity Gauntlet
to one another. It was kind of silly.
Trying to get it to Ant-Man's van so they can what were they doing with it? I can't remember what they were doing with it, but somehow Iron Man gets a hold of it, and he basically wins the day for everybody. And he snaps his finger, ends up snapping Thanos and his army out of existence. But it turns out the Infinity Gauntlets were too much for, a mortal to handle. And he ends up kind of dying. And everybody who's closest to him, Peter.
This one cried like a baby in the theater. there.
Yeah, I cried. Well, you get emotionally attached to these characters, and sometimes you do shed a tear. Or two, or more.
500.
Oh, you stop. And Peter keeps repeating, "We won, Mr. Stark, we won," and they just cry, and the funeral was actually pretty sweet, and just everything. The movie was heartwarming and action-packed. Do you have any final thoughts before I end this video, because it's going on very long?
It reminded me of the last episode of Seinfeld, where it's like, what is a nice way to end something that has gone on for so long? You do a reprise, you do a recap of all the great moments all the way leading up to this. So it nodded its cap to various Marvel movies all throughout the past 10 years, various backstories going back as far as the 70s, and it was able to kind of touch on all of these things as a way to give an appropriate ending. But of course, it's not actually going to be the ending, because why would they?
Spider-Man Far From Home.
Right, why would they want to stop making money? So,
Not
yeah,
that's not much of the aspect of it right this second. And they did a really, really sweet tribute to Stan Lee, which I thought was really, really cool, and all his cameos and everything, and just that whole movie was amazing. And I give this movie about 15 Infinity Gauntlets up.
Whoa.
And I think it was amazing. So go see it if you haven't already. This is Drama Queen.
Drama Queen's brother.
Signing off until the next movie review. See you guys later.